What is going on, everyone? Zyonik here, and in today's video we're going to jump into part 2 of the Tempest Cup Meta. And if this is the first time you're seeing any of my videos, I have made a video called the Tempest Cup Meta Part 1, so link down in the description, so go check that out before you hop into this video. But if you've already seen that, let's go ahead and dive right in. Now, today's video we're going to cover some Pokemon that you guys are 100% going to see in this tournament. Alright, diving right into the meta, guys. So this is the first video you are seeing. We're just taking a quick look at the meta here. There's just notice that there's a lot of different types of Pokemon, guys. So just like yesterday's video, you've already seen this. It's going to be a rock, paper, scissors event, guys. So we're going to go ahead and move into the first pick of the night for me, which is a Pokemon that I have been waiting so long to use because it's unreal how strong it is, and that's going to be Altaria, guys. Altaria with an absolutely recommended fast move of Dragon Breath with a charge move of Sky Attack, and then you can either go Dragon Pulse or Dazzling Gleam based on what you want to do. But if we look at the potential meta Pokemon that could be used here and how Altaria is going to do against them. So starting at the top, we're going to go Altaria versus Skarmory. And this is drastic, guys. This is what you need to pay attention to. Skarmory with Steel Wing as a fast move, Altaria destroys. Absolutely destroys, not even a contest. But an Altaria with an Air Slash, Altaria is going to go toe-to-toe, and it's going to be based on shields when it comes to that matchup. Now, if we're moving on to the right, we got the Ground Water meta and the Electric meta, and this is all going to be based on shielding. Altaria will put out a lot of damage versus these guys, but these guys also have very quick charge moves. So as long as Altaria uses 1 or 2 shields, it should be able to handle these Pokemon. But then these Pokemon also, if you don't shield, a Thunderbolt from a Zapdos, Altaria is going to be gone. So that's how that matchup is going to work. Now when it comes to Altaria versus the Ice Pokemon we're going to see in this tournament, it's actually more surprising than I thought it was going to be. I thought the Ice Pokemon were just going to be a Pew on Altaria. But when we take a look at it, because of how strong Dragon Breath is and how tanky Altaria is, if you can use 1 or 2 shields versus these Pokemon, you could potentially take them out with Altaria. But you are going to be burning 2 shields with Altaria. So that's why I have the Pew and the shields there, because the Ice Pokemon are going to be doing super effective damage to Altaria, but if Altaria shields everything, that Altaria is going to take you out unless you shield. So moving right down to the next category, we got the Rock Electric, Rock Ground, Steel Ground Pokemon with Rhyperior, Steelix, and Alolan Graveler. This is going to be another shield battle. Who uses shields on what moves is going to determine the victor in this matchup. And then moving right down to the bottom, we have Tropius and Charizard. And Altaria is like a beefed up Skarmory on roids versus Tropius and Charizard. When it's versus Charizard, be mindful, guys, that Charizard will have Blast Burn. Most likely everyone that has a Charizard in this tournament will have a Blast Burn, and that's going to hurt. So if you're against a Charizard, maybe doing 1 shield with Altaria, and you'll handle the Charizard. But versus Tropius, it's not even funny how silly it is to watch Altaria go to town on Tropius. And we will, just like yesterday's video, guys, we will be seeing these Pokemon showcased. So I will showcase Altaria, and then the other Pokemon I'm going to show you here in a second. So just if you want to screenshot this, go ahead and screenshot it. But this is just a general guideline. Now, obviously, it's going to come into, this is 100% health versus 100% health with no energy. So obviously, if you're coming into a Quagsire, right, and he's got about 50% health, but he's got a Stone Edge ready and you have no shields, Altaria might not win that. It might get destroyed, but this is just a baseline for you guys to understand. So moving right on to the next Pokemon. It's a Pokemon that a lot of people have been asking about, and I've been wondering about myself, and that's going to be Lapras. And to start things off, Lapras, because of legacy moves, it's going to determine how you use a Lapras. I've been asked in comments if my Lapras only has Ice Shard, but it doesn't have Ice Beam, will it still do good? So we're just going to dive into how this works. So first off, we're going to start with basically what I call the Legacy Lapras, which is Ice Shard, which is a legacy move, and Ice Beam, which is a legacy move, but then Frost Breath also does really well, and this is how it's going to play out. Lapras versus Tropius, it's going to come based on shielding. Like, this is going to be, it's like Venomoth versus Venomoth in last tournament, guys. It's going to be so much damage being pumped out that both of you pretty much just going to die, and it's a matter of who wants to use a shield or not. Now it comes to Lapras versus Skarmory. It's going to be shielding again. If Skarmory uses 2 shields and you decide not to use 2 shields, the Skarmory is going to win. Now Lapras versus the electric Pokemon, it's going to be shielding again. Like always, the choices, and this is where this tournament is going to be a lot different than tournaments we've seen before, is because of the rock, paper, scissors. It's going to all depend on where you use your shields and against who. And we're going to dive into that whole situation in later videos, but for now, we're just going to move right down to the ice and water ground meta. They're both going to be pew-pewing at each other, doing a lot of damage, but it's also going to be shielding. Lapras is a little bit more favorable because of how tanky it is, but it can lose to a lot of these Pokemon if it doesn't shield. Going down to the next row, we got the Steelix, Rhyperior, Alolan Graveler. It's going to be shielding again, guys. And this is why Lapras is such a great lead, and this is why you see it at the top of the charts for lead. It's got a lead of 100 because it doesn't instantly die to anything. And this is a Pokemon that I'm definitely using on my team, and that I might use as my lead pretty much every single time, because the only thing that can really destroy a Lapras fast is a Tropius and an Abomasnow, but I can do damage back to them, and I'm tanky enough to get out of there. So this is why leading with a Lapras can be really strong, because it's all going to be based on shielding. If you go, you know what, I'll go ahead and let my Lapras go down, not burn a shield, but you can take out a lot of, do a lot of damage to that first Pokemon. It might be worth it. Now moving on to the final little section here, we got Altaria and Charizard. And when it comes to Altaria, a Legacy Lapras with Ice Shard, or, you know, Ice Beam, Frost Breath, what have you, they're both going to be doing a lot of damage to each other. Dragon Breath hitting really hard, and Ice Shard and Frost Breath obviously doing super effective damage to Altaria. It's all going to come to shielding, but there's going to be a lot of damage being pumped out really quickly. It's kind of like the same matchup of Tropius, just not as prominent. And then when it comes to Charizard, it's going to be the same kind of thing. If you let a Charizard do a Blast Burn, the Lapras is just going to disappear. So that is Legacy Lapras. Now moving into Water Gun Lapras, and the dynamic changes, guys. You can already see on the screen there's a lot less shields and a lot more pew-pew. So starting off at the #1 reason that it could go really bad with Water Gun is Tropius. Instead of trading with Tropius, you get absolutely destroyed by Tropius. Like, it turns into a slaughterhouse if you have a Water Gun versus a Tropius. And you're thinking, you know, I don't have Legacy Lapras, I don't have Ice Shard, I don't have Ice Beam. It's okay, Frost Breath, guys. It's not gonna do as well, but it still is better than Water Gun versus a Tropius. Now when it comes to Celio and Skarmory, that's going to be on shielding, and this is why, because Celio is going to body slam the whole team. It's literally, it's like Mud Bomb spam, but it's just going to be body slam, or yeah, body slam, just lots of spamming of it. It's hard words to say. So when it comes to that matchup and matchup versus Skarmory, you're definitely going to want to be determining what shields you want to use, and that's going to determine who wins that fight. And again, Water Gun versus the electric type Pokemon, it's going to be based on shielding. And now when it comes to Lantern, this is something special. I didn't put it on this infograph, but just go ahead and listen. Lantern with a Charge Beam fast move with, let's say, Thunderbolt and Hydro Pump will destroy a Water Gun Lapras. But a Water Gun Lantern goes toe-to-toe, or you know, goes all right against Lapras, and Lapras can come out on top with shielding. So that's just something to note based on if you're gonna have Lantern on your team and what you want to utilize that Pokemon for. The moves you choose will determine what it does well against. So moving into the Ice Water Ground meta, Lapras is gonna go Pew Pew. It's gonna do some work on these Pokemon. Now, I would recommend you shield one of their moves, because if you take a Stone Edge or something like that, or a Shadow Ball from Frostlass, it is going to do a decent amount of damage. But with Water Gun versus that meta right there, you see, it's going to do, Lapras with Water Gun is going to do very well. And then when it comes to the Steelix, Rhyperior, Alolan Graveler, Lapras is going to destroy him with Water Gun. So this is how Lapras changes. I'm going to go ahead and switch back to the Ice meta. So you can see there's a lot more shields being traded off here. And then if we go back to the Water Gun, you see Lapras is like more specialized to eliminate some specific Pokemon. And then looking at the bottom, Altaria and Charizard, again, it's going to be shields and just raw damage coming out between these two. Because you're definitely going to want to shield a Blast Burn unless you're okay with your Lapras taking massive amounts of damage, but that Water Gun is going to do super effective damage to Charizard. So that's just the things you got to think about. So Lapras is definitely a huge pick for me in this tournament, and it might be my #1 lead when it comes to the actual tournament play. Now moving on to the final Pokemon we're going to see today. And it's a Pokemon that a lot more of the community will have and use because they don't have Tropius, and that's going to be Abomasnow. And Abomasnow is a double-edged sword, guys. It can be scary when you put it in for one of two reasons. Either it's going to be scary for the enemy, or you're going to be scared from what they put in. Because if you can look at the chart here, it's very one way or the other. The only Pokemon it kind of goes shields against is Steelix, and Steelix can actually come out on top if it uses 1 or 2 shields. It'll be able to beat Abomasnow, but if Abomasnow uses 2 shields and Steelix decides to only use 0 or 1, Abomasnow can kind of come out on top on that. Other than that, you're either going to be getting destroyed or doing the destroying. Which is kind of cool and kind of fun and mixes things up, but it's at a cost. Because if we start off at the very top, look at the Pokemon that are going to destroy Abomasnow. That's going to be Tropius, Skarmory, Charizard, and Altaria. Abomasnow has no chance. There's just... Sorry, Abomasnow, but those 4 Pokemon will destroy you. And those are 4 Pokemon you're going to see in the meta. Now, Tropius, if your tournament doesn't have it, that's okay. You don't have to worry about that with Abomasnow, but the other 3, they're gonna be there, guys. Steelix was in Boulder Cup. Charizard's like one of the most favorite iconic Pokemon in the game, and everyone has Swablues that they can evolve. So you're gonna see those 3. Now when it comes to the electric type Pokemon, this is where Abomasnow starts to ramp things up. He's gonna destroy them with Razor Leaf damage. It's going to be awesome to have Abomasnow versus that. And then when it comes to the ice, ground, all those Pokemon you see in the middle, Abomasnow is going to destroy them. Absolutely destroy. Like Rhyperior, see ya. Lapras, see ya. Marshtomp, see ya. It's and this is why I say it's a double-edged sword. He's going to do so much damage to about half the meta, and then 3 Pokemon or 4 Pokemon that you will see in the tournament, he's going to get destroyed by. So it's going to be one of those cases of you're going to have to bail with him fast, or if you swap in and they haven't swapped yet, the chances are they're going to swap into that Pokemon. And on the flip side, if you see someone swapping Abomasnow into your Piloswine, get that Skarmory in there instantly, like as fast as you can. Get that Altaria in there. Get that Charizard in there, because he's going to be so weak. And you can take advantage of that. So now that we've kind of gone through these 3 Pokemon that we're going to see in the tournament, we're going to get right into some fights, guys. I am going to lead with an Altaria while having Abomasnow and Skarmory on my team. And she leads with the Tropius, and I know this is favorable to me because not only do I have Sky Attack, but I have Dragon Breath. And just look at that. The damage bar doesn't go away from doing orange. That's how quick we're doing damage. So she's going to have to shield this. So she does shield the Sky Attack. And we're not going to shield this because the Leaf Blade isn't going to do anything to us. So she's going to go ahead and bail out of there. She comes in with Piloswine. And Piloswine's going to do really well against Altaria. So she blocks this Sky Attack, and we need to get out of there. And we bring in Abomasnow. And Abomasnow, if you don't shield, that happens. That's a lot of damage. But Abomasnow having Leaf Blade, or Razor Leaf, makes up for it. That's how good Razor Leaf is even though Abomasnow took all that damage, it deleted Piloswine very quickly. But Altaria coming in deletes my Abomasnow, and then she's also going to delete my Altaria. And I try to shield here and try to get this last Sky Attack off, but not in time. So that was a bad shield use, but that's okay. So my Altaria does go down, and I bring in Skarmory. And Skarmory's gonna lose to an Altaria, but she's so far behind that if I shield this, I'm gonna be able to take the win trade here. So we do get a few more attacks in, go for this Sky Attack, because I'm trying to build up energy for her last Pokemon. And her last Pokemon is Tropius. So we have another Sky Attack here, and Skarmory, gonna do great in this tournament, guys. Goes ahead and takes care of that Tropius. So GG's, and we're going to go ahead and move into the next game. So moving into this next match, I'm going to go ahead and lead with Lapras and have Altaria and Skarmory on my team. So getting right into it, she leads with an Altaria and I have a Lapras, so I'm very happy with this matchup because I do have Ice Shard with Ice Beam, so I have a Legacy Lapras. So she's going to have to get out of there. She brings in a Tropius. I'm going to go ahead and get this Ice Beam off. If she doesn't block it, this Tropius is going to go down. She does block it. I'm going to go ahead and get out of there and go right into Skarmory. Because she used her swap on me, instead of going toe-to-toe and have my Lapras go down, I can just switch into Skarmory, which is a really safe counter for a Tropius. Because he's not going to do anything to a Skarmory. So we do take down the Skarmory, and now it's a Skarmory on Skarmory fight. I'm going to go ahead and get this Sky Attack off to try to burn a shield. We don't get the shield, and I can't switch out right now. If I could, I would swap into Altaria, but I can't. So I'm going to go ahead and block this Flash Cannon and try to get off another Sky Attack. So we get the Sky Attack, and she does shield it again. So she's out of shield, so I'm happy with that. We're going to try to get this last Sky Attack in. So we're just going to go ahead and let Skarmory go down. Now I'm going to bring in Altaria to finish off this Skarmory. And her last Pokemon is going to be that Altaria. So we are going to shield this. Now, I do try to go for a swag finish of swapping in Lapras to finish off, but it backfired. It backfired real bad. And she was laughing, but it's okay. I have a Sky Attack saved up. So we do still get the win. I tried to go for style points, and it backfired on me real bad. That's alright. Moving into the next game. I'm going to go ahead and lead with a Lapras, and she leads with Altaria. So already right now, I know I win this trade. So she's going to have to get out of there or she's going to lose. Now we're fighting a Charizard here, and this is going to be interesting because I want to see how much damage this Blast Burn does to me, so that I know in the future if I need to shield it or not. So I'm going to go ahead and not shield, let her do her Blast Burn, and there goes all my health. There goes Lapras. So that's why Charizard is dangerous. But on the other hand, I have an Altaria. Going to go ahead and shield this Blast Burn. You guys just saw how much damage that Altaria did with Dragon Breath. Charizard's gone. So she brings in Piloswine, which is a very good counter for an Altaria, and it's all going to depend on shields. So we're going to go ahead and get out of there. We're going to bring in Abomasnow, and like before, we saw how much damage it did. We're going to block this Avalanche so we can keep our health and destroy the Piloswine anyways. Bye, Piloswine. Thanks for playing. Moving into the last Pokemon. She has Altaria and... Bye, Abomasnow. Thanks for playing. So we're bringing Altaria, and this is a Altaria vs Altaria fight. I'm going to go ahead and get this Sky Attack off to finish the round just before she got hers. And that is it. So I'm going to go ahead and lead with a Lapras and have Altaria and Abomasnow as my secondary Pokemon in this team. So I'm going to lead with Lapras, and she leads with Skarmory. And this is more drastic than the Skarmory versus Skarmory in the Boulder Cup. This is just, no one's doing anything to each other. So we're just storing energy. I'm going to go ahead and swap out of there and swap into Altaria. And this is where things are going to start ramping up real quick. She gets off this Flash Cannon. We're going to go ahead and block it, but watch this. Here we go. Pew, 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 pew. She brings in Rhyperior, and Rhyperior can take down an Altaria, guys. But it's all going to be based on shielding. So as we see here, just a lot of damage is going out on both sides. We do get this second Sky attack off, and she doesn't shield it. Rhyperior may go down. And you see that it's super close, and Rhyperior does go down. So based on shielding there, that's how that matchup will work. Now coming into another Altaria, mine goes straight down. So we're going to bring in our Lapras with an Ice Beam already charged up. She does block it, but now she's just going to be taking super effective damage, and I already have a lot of energy stored, and she's out of shields. So this Lapras Ice Beam, see ya, Altaria. Alright, she brings in Skarmory, and we're just going to go ahead and finish off Skarmory with this Ice Beam. And this just goes to show how tanky Lapras is in this meta, and the Pokemon that's going to destroy a Lapras is going to be a Tropius. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video and you found it insightful, so let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this meta and what Pokemon you guys are excited to use in this tournament. And like always guys, thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.